Welcome back to Keeping It Legal, the podcast where we break down immigration laws and share real stories behind them. Today, we are joined by some incredible people. We are joined by two of my previous clients. Not only two of my previous clients, these two individuals were my two first clients. When I started this journey 7 years ago, Miss Daisy called me and she indicated that she wanted to come in for a consultation. Little did she know, she would have been my very, very first consultation. She came in, she and her husband, and apparently I was impressive enough to where she trusted me to embark on the long journey of immigration. And today, full circle, 7 years later, she's back with her husband to be our very first guest. So I am honored. As always, my name is Hugh Hudson.
And I'm Shantae Wilson, guys. Thanks for joining us for another episode.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for coming in. Like I said, I'm honored to have you here back at the Hudson Law Group. I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to our viewers.
I'm Daisy Khadzehas.
I'm Lennox Khadzehas.
All right. So the Khadzehas. So you all have a very interesting story, and you all, our viewers, will get a chance to kind of hear your story. And Shanti as well, because you haven't met them before,
right?
You weren't here at the time when they first worked with Hudson Law Group. So this is your opportunity to also meet them. I know you have some questions for them. So I'll let you go ahead. You can start off.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Our very first guest. That's exciting.
I'm very excited.
So tell us where you guys met.
Okay, we met in a cruise ship. I was working in a MSC Cruises in a boat by the name Seaside. Yeah, that's where we met.
So Seaside is a very big ship. I actually I did a cruise on the MSC, and it's huge. Yeah. At the time you all met, what was happening? What was the first conversation like? What exactly was happening?
Okay, there was basketball tournament. Then I was the one hosting the tournament, but fortunately it was raining, so it was not happening. But still, I had to go there to see all the clients who were shown up to tell them we are not going to play because it's not safe, because it's slippery. So that's where I see Daisy and the family, her daughter especially, got together because her son was the one to play, but he didn't come. So when I saw her, I greeted them and I told them that we have canceled the tournament. Yeah.
So you were working on the ship? What you saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you told her that you all canceled the tournament, and her son's disappointment turned into her joys because you got to meet her, and I'm sure you all connected, correct?
How was that first interaction for you, Daisy, when you saw Lennox?
At first, I was agitated because I had to walk 18 flights to get to the 18th floor.
Yeah.
And then we get there and it was raining.
Right.
And he was coming in and we were going out. And we just locked eyes and started talking. So then he took us to the lower level, which had a bridge, like a rope bridge. And he snatched my phone and he ran. And I said, this guy is crazy. He snatched my phone and ran. And he tried to get us to come across the bridge.
Okay.
But little did I know I was crossing that bridge into my new life.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what they say, luck is in the hands of the brave, right? So you were brave in doing that and you got lucky.
That's a beautiful story, by the way.
Yeah. So Lennox, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Kenya.
Kenya, okay.
Yeah, the coast side of Kenya, a place called Malindi.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so you came from
raised.
Okay. You came from Kenya and then you started working on the ship from Kenya?
Yes, because they have jobs. You can go online and apply for the jobs. Okay. But we had one of our colleagues, like a family friend, who was working there already. So he's the one who connected us. We had to do the interviews with the guys through Skype. So if you qualify, they call you on board.
And how's life back in Kenya?
Our life back in Kenya is very good. It's pretty good, yeah.
And Daisy, when you met Lennox, what made you realize that he was the one? I'm sure you've met men before, right? But there was something about Lennox, I suppose, that got you all here.
Anybody brave enough to snatch somebody's phone that you don't know. No. After that initial encounter, he just started popping up everywhere on the ship. Everywhere. And one night there was a big dance. And he showed up. And my baby boy, he said, this guy's gonna end up in North Carolina. I said, with who? I said, with who? Mom, he's gonna end up in North Carolina.
That's amazing.
And we just connected.
Yeah.
We exchanged numbers and we lost contact. The numbers weren't correct.
Oh. And this is on the ship while you still on the ship?
This is on the ship. We only had 2 days left.
Wow.
And I went back to North Carolina. And I think it was a week or 2 later, still no contact.
Wow.
I even tried calling the ship, acting like I forgot something on the ship. But still couldn't get through.
Yeah.
And it was the DJ who was at the party that night. He connected with my daughter and I got his number. And he relayed the message to Lennox and he called right away. And we talked every day since.
That's amazing. I don't think maybe I didn't remember this part of the story, but that's amazing.
Right? Like, I'm getting goosebumps.
It's amazing. So that's destiny for sure.
So how did the conversation about marriage come about?
The marriage conversation came about when I got here. Because after my contract, I disembarked in Miami. So instead of going back to Kenya, she told me, I will come pick you. You stay here for the couple of months that you have. Because I had a transit visa. And, I'm not allowed to stay here to the end of that visa. So she came to Miami. She picked me up. We stayed there for a couple of days, I think 3-4 days. Yeah. To the baby son. And then we crossed over.
Just a legal note for our viewers. The transit visa, what that is for individuals like flight attendants and people who work on the ships. Those visas are very restrictive. You're not allowed to stay in the U.S. If you did overstay. Unlike other visas, you're not able to change your status to become a lawful permanent resident.
Exactly.
So that's why you were kind of restricted and you had to
leave here and go back to Kenya after a couple of months. I think 3 months. I still have 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. I do remember Daisy asking me several times, can you look to make sure, is there any way we can allow him to stay? I was like, no, these visas, the type of visa makes sense.
So during the 3 months, the conversation of marriage came about.
Yeah, when I came here, so as we were together, we started talking about how do you think you're able to come and stay here with me? Yeah. So that's when it started.
And Daisy, I think you can talk to us about this. What was it like reaching out to lawyers and connecting with the Hudson Law Group?
You were the second lawyer that I went to. The first one, I didn't like what he was saying, but he said the same exact thing that you said, but he just said it in a different way. And I didn't want to accept it. He said, oh, you can get your husband back here before your 3rd anniversary. 3rd anniversary? But what made me pick you, and you don't know this, is my best friend is from Guyana. You told me when you said that you was from Guyana, I believe. I said, that's the one.
That's amazing.
That's why I picked him.
That's amazing. I did not know that you had a Guyanese friend.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Well, it was destiny all around. And I'm definitely grateful to have experienced it with you all. Now, we had the marriage. And then obviously, you all didn't live in the same country, so immigration at some point would have come up. So tell us about that conversation and how you all decided that you need to petition for him to come here and stay with you.
What happened was throughout the summer, he was trying to find a job. And everywhere we went, kept telling him no. But then there was one place that told him yes. that he could work. It got close to the first day of him going to his job, and the lady never contacted him. I said, well, something must be wrong. I think we should contact the lawyer to see what we have to do, because they kept telling him he didn't have the right numbers, I guess, for tax purposes or something. And that's what initially made us go to a lawyer. And again, that was fate, because if that job would have let him work, we would have never went to a lawyer at that time, and he probably would have overstayed his visa.
Yeah. So transitioning a little bit into like him now leaving. Obviously, you said you had 3 months together, and I'm sure you made a lot of memories, trying to make the best out of 3 months. How, when you all decided to leave, or when you left, because you decided to leave before it was time, but once you left, tell us about the emotions. I'll start with you, Miss Daisy. Like, what was that like for you the first few days of him headed back to Kenya?
I was distraught. I said, I can't do this. This is going to take too long. But then again, I was determined. I said, okay, we have to get this done as fast as possible, as quick as possible. I had the greatest lawyer. Anybody who could put up with me. He was so good. All times of night, I would text.
She called me at a good time because I was available. It was just her.
Night shift worker.
Yeah.
So I'm back.
Yeah.
He always answered. He made me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like he really knew what he was doing. And I didn't know I was the first case.
It's amazing.
How did you feel, Mr. Lennox?
It was a little bit kind of tough too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other side, I was also very happy to go back and see my family.
Right.
Yeah, but leaving my wife, because before I left, we had to go to the attorney and get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of tough, but
What's
I knew that we're going to make it, because everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And I always believe in God. Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you did to pass the time while being away from Miss Daisy?
Just homeworks, I do a little bit of working at home. Yeah, like garden works and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there was a little bit tough time also. Yeah, sometimes he's trying to call me and I'm not available because of the network there.
So there's a time difference.
Yeah,
right?
the time difference. So sometimes, where have you been? I've been trying to call you like 2, 3 days, or 3, 4 hours. Well, I said, you know the place. Yeah, but you don't know. But when you come here, you will see. Yeah.
So Kenya, well, Africa, really, all the embassies in Africa, but Kenya in particular, Nairobi, is probably the most annoying consulate post. It takes forever. So tell our viewers like how long that process was for you all, how long you all were separated from the time you left the US until you were able to move to the US.
That was long. Yeah. It was like 3 years, 4 months, and some few days.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the migration in Nairobi, it's terrible.
It's notorious for its slowness, and it's just
the law between Kenya and America. They're very tough.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are very tough, and it's not easy for African to come to America.
Yeah.
They will try to find each and every small detail that you have to cancel you.
Yeah.
And I was going to the embassy like every 2, 3 months for all those 3 years.
Yeah.
I was there every 2, 3 months.
Yeah, and on my ends of things, both me and Miss Daisy we're emailing people, calling the embassy, just trying to have them schedule the appointment. Just schedule the appointment. I, threatened them with lawsuits a couple of times. But knowing now, that was my first time dealing with Nairobi, but knowing now they're just notoriously slow. And it's very annoying, and I don't particularly like it, but it is what it is. Did you all see each other in between, that 3 years? Did you ever visit him?
Yes, I did. I went to Kenya that March. He left in October. I went to Kenya in March.
2020.
2020, I flew alone, and I am one who's terrified of planes. But I flew alone.
How long was the flight?
It was 12 hours and 45 minutes direct flight from New York.
Right.
But I did it. I did it.
How was it when you came off the plane and you saw him?
All the fear was gone. He was there with his family. I couldn't believe it.
Nice.
And when I got to his home, it was unbelievable.
What was your impression of like both his family and Kenya in general?
Let me go back first. Kenya, it was beautiful. What I saw from the airport to where we were staying was beautiful. But the flip side of that, COVID had just hit.
Right.
And so when they found out an American was there, they wanted to keep me in quarantine for my whole trip.
Oh, wow.
The whole trip.
That's
And
long.
that's when he called his mother because they were asking where I was. And she said, no, you can't stay there the whole trip. Bring my daughter home.
Oh. So it's almost like you're part of the family.
And that's when he brought me home. And they gave me the celebration, the welcoming of a lifetime.
Oh.
Nice. So I like it. And then just kind of jump ahead a little bit. Tell us, Lennox, tell us about the interview process and the day of the interview. What was that like? Like once you got your visa interview and you had to go into the embassy for your visa, what was the interview? What was that like?
Okay, the interview was like they trying to look generally your health, you know. So they will test your urine, your saliva, your waste matters, and even your blood. Maybe you have been taking some alcohol, drugs, something like that. If they find those things, you are done. You're done. So
yeah, as a legal note again, so there are certain things that make someone inadmissible for a visa to the U.S. And when you have an interview scheduled for a visa to the U.S., you have to undergo a medical exam. And there are 3 diseases in particular that make someone inadmissible. Syphilis, gonorrhea, and TB, tuberculosis.
yes.
Right? So they will run your blood test. If you tested positive for any of the 3, then you are inadmissible. There are some waivers and things you can file for that. During the exam, particularly in consulate interviews or preparing for consulate interviews, they also look for certain things or they ask about drug use. Sometimes they have psychiatrists give you a mental evaluation, because if the psychiatrist determine that you have the propensity to harm yourself or be a harm to U.S. citizen, that could also make you inadmissible. Drug use as well. If you've used drugs in the past, that could render you inadmissible. Certain places, like in Latin America, particularly Mexico, they look for tattoos. So people with certain tattoos, if they could determine that those tattoos have any kind of affiliation with any gangs, they will make your life a little bit difficult as well. So that's what Lennox was mentioning, the medical exam process. But this is usually prior to going into the interview. Yeah. So then how did you feel once your visa was granted?
Oh, I was so happy. I was so happy because I wanted to come back and stay with my wife. It's not a good feeling that you are married and you are miles away apart.
Yeah.
So sometimes I was like, oh, how is it going to be? Is it going to happen?
Yeah.
We always give courage to each other, because when we call in, then we say, don't worry, babe, it's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Yeah, God is on his work. So
yeah,
when the right time comes, it will be. Yeah. So once I got my visa, and I will say that, oh, you are approved. It was a joy that I cannot even explain. It was a good feeling.
How was that moment for you, Miss Davy?
Oh, I cried. I got right on line. I booked his ticket. I said in a couple of days you'll be home.
Yes. So that was good times, exciting time for all of us, because I remember you texting me and calling me.
How was it for you?
I was elated. I was grateful to kind of get it behind us because we had, like, she said she communicated a lot with me. She kind of leaned on me, and I leaned on my research abilities because I didn't have the experience at the time. But I did everything I could to make sure that it happened, right? So eventually when it happened, I was super, super, super excited. That is primarily the most joy I receive from what I do. Not the money. I don't do this for money. I'm an immigrant myself, so I do it for the gratification of seeing the happiness at the end of it all, right? To see my clients celebrate and be grateful and appreciative too, because they're very appreciative of me.
Oh, you did a good job.
Yeah,
you did a
so
good job.
that is primarily what I
That's nice.
what I do.
Okay.
You did a good job.
So how's life like in the US now, Lennox, since you're there? How is life together? How is married life together?
Life is good. Life
Yeah.
is good. Yeah,
You guys are very happy, I must say.
I can't complain. Sometimes it's a little bit hard, you know. You have homesick and thinking of your family, friends, and
Yeah.
because the way we are there, it's not like here. You know, sometimes here you might spend the whole week in a house.
Yes, you don't know who your neighbors are.
Yeah.
I
We were
can't
speaking
even,
about that last
I
week.
can't go even outside and say hi to friends and talk to friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, up
Well,
to now, I'm very comfortable and I'm used to it because I'm almost two years here right now.
Nice.
Yeah, this month on the 18th, I'll be having 2 years since I've been here.
yeah, which means you can become a citizen soon.
Yeah, as we said. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so you spoke a little bit about it in your previous answer, like just this transition period. I know you said that you don't know who your neighbors are, and it's kind of like you cooped up in the house a lot. What are some other challenges you realize from the transition from living in Kenya to now you moving to the U.S. And you moved in what month did you migrate here?
It was May.
May. Okay, so
Yeah,
it was
2023.
it was warm
Yeah,
weather.
2023. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, I see also like the weather here.
Mhm.
So it'll be very chilly, cold, you know, like the winter time. Not even go out. I have to wear big jackets. Yeah, my home, I can't just walk with a tent on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is what it is, and they say when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do.
Absolutely.
So here I am. Yeah.
Have you been back home to Kenya since moving here?
Yeah, we were in Kenya this year in March. We went for our African wedding.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I promise I will share some photos.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Their wedding was amazing. I was following on Facebook. Ironically enough, Daisy invited me, but sent it a little bit late. I would have definitely gone, but it's all the way in Kenya, so it would have taken a lot of planning on my part, and it was a little bit too late, but I would have gone because I want to. Kenya is on my bucket list, and hopefully next year I'll be able to visit. But yeah, your wedding was amazing. I was following on Facebook.
Thank you.
It's just heartwarming story.
Yeah.
Love it.
The pictures were beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you. They were really beautiful.
All right. So how hearing your perspective of just him being here with the U.S. and in the U.S. and you all be reunited and living together in the U.S. What's that like for you to have?
Awesome. He's home. Not alone anymore. Now, just trying to show him as much as the U.S. as I can. Introducing him to family. I took him to Connecticut to meet all of my family. The work here was different for him. The big challenge is the driving, because they really didn't have to drive there.
Right.
So him learning to drive on the right side of the road.
Right. And
Because we're driving on the left.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
yeah, what are you all most excited about for the future?
We're planning so much going around the world. Yeah, we're planning also to buy some land in Kenya and build a house. So when we get retired, we'll be staying sometimes here and sometimes in Kenya, especially in the winter times. We will be bored, so we'll be staying in Kenya. Yeah, because it's always summer there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. So, lastly, you want to ask this question?
Yeah. So I know you guys shared, the experience that you had with Mr. Hudson, but how was your overall experience with the Hudson Law Group?
It was wonderful. Very caring. He was very caring, understanding, patient, so patient. So patient. And I just felt comfortable. I knew everything was going to be okay. Even during my worst anxiety attacks and thinking that it wasn't going to happen, he remained calm. And he just let me know that it was going to be okay, that they couldn't keep my husband from me. And I just held on to that.
Hassan is a good lawyer. And he did a good job. Once again, I say that. And I can recommend him to anybody. Anybody. Yes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I mean, the Hudson Law Group, all my staff, I kind of passed down that culture where caring, we all, like everyone that works with me has some kind of immigration story or, maybe parents immigrated to the U.S. So we all kind of share that passion for immigration. So the way I started, I'm a lot more busier now. So I don't have enough time in the day to kind of spread around to everyone. But I've kind of imparted the same type of principle in my staff, where we are extremely reachable. I would like to think that I'm knowledgeable, to where I could, I answer your questions. I'm extremely transparent, right? You will know what the process is when you come in to see me and you decide to work with me. I'm not going to hide that from you, and then you will have to decide, right? I'm not one of those lawyers that will take people's money and sell them a false hope, right? I'll be transparent, and then I'll let you know what I can do. And I thank God for the ability to do a lot, and I will continue to make people feel like you all are feeling now. And I really do appreciate it, because that is my goal, right? To know that my goal is accomplished. It's amazing. And I thank you all so much for being our first guest, first client, first guest.
Thank you.
You guys have a very beautiful story.
And
I wish you all the best in the future. When you guys were talking, I got goosebumps because this is what love is. It is beautiful. And congrats again. I hope you have a beautiful life.
Asante sana.
Yes.
Oh.
That's what we say in Kenya.
Asante
Asante sana.
sana.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana.
May God.
Yeah.
Thank you.